Muy buenas tardes, bendiciones. Ya estamos listos el día de hoy. Estamos preparados en esta tarde para dar inicio a este servicio llamado Hasta que Él venga. Y el día de hoy es un servicio especial que realizamos cada mes, el último viernes de cada mes, donde llevamos a cabo la Santa Cena, llevamos a cabo esta ordenanza que el Señor Jesucristo nos dejó, esta ordenanza tan importante para nosotros, para poder recordarle, para poder hacerlo en memoria de Él, como dice la Escritura, hacer esto en memoria de mí hasta que yo venga. Así es que en obediencia a su palabra es que nosotros tenemos estos servicios cada mes, cada último viernes del mes. Y bueno, pues aquí estamos listos y preparados. La cena está servida, estamos listos para iniciar. Pero antes de iniciar queremos saludar a todos aquellos que se encuentran en redes sociales, aquellos que se estarán conectando quizás más tarde. Y queremos decirle que aun y cuando tú estés a través de las redes sociales, ya que sabemos que hay algunas personas que están enfermas el día de hoy, por lo cual no podrán asistir, pero eso no impide que también tú participes de este momento y de esta ordenanza. Y queremos pedirte y queremos invitarte a que ahí donde tú te encuentras en este momento, tú también te prepares. Tienes el tiempo para poder prepararte con los elementos necesarios para poder participar de esta ordenanza, para poder junto con nosotros desde el lugar donde tú te encuentres poder también participar. Sienta a tu familia a la mesa, juntos adoremos, juntos escuchemos su palabra y al mismo tiempo vamos a participar de esta ordenanza todos. Así es que en esta tarde vamos a iniciar. Los que estamos aquí nos ponemos en pie y vamos a hacer una oración para poder dar inicio y que todo lo que vamos a hacer sea de acuerdo a su voluntad. Señor, muchísimas gracias. Bendito Dios. Un día más, una semana más que ha terminado, una semana laboral de escuela que hemos terminado, y queremos agradecerte, queremos decirte gracias. Gracias porque tú nos has dado las fuerzas, nos has dado la vida, la salud para poder realizar todas nuestras actividades durante la semana. Y en estos momentos, Señor, queremos tomarnos este tiempo, porque también es importante alimentar nuestro espíritu. Queremos tomarnos este tiempo para juntos adorarte. Espíritu Santo, Espíritu Santo, toca nuestras vidas en esta tarde. Llénanos de tu amor. Te necesitamos. Estamos aquí para adorarte. Estamos aquí para levantar tu precioso nombre en alto, para llenarnos cada día más y más de tu presencia, para juntos, Señor, en un mismo espíritu, gozarnos contigo en esta tarde. Así es que, Espíritu Santo, aquí estamos, listos para ti, en el nombre de Jesús. Amén.
Desire more of you belongs. sentado en el trono, al que vive para siempre y siempre, sea la gloria, sea la honra y el poder, sea la gloria, sea la honra y el poder al que está sentado en el trono, al que vive para siempre y siempre, sea la gloria, sea la honra y el poder, sea la gloria, sea la honra y el poder, sea la gloria, sea la honra y el poder, sea la honra, sea la gloria y el poder. Santo, 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 santo eres tú. Santo, 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 santo eres tú. Holy, 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 holy are you, Lord. Holy, 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 holy are you, Lord. Santo, 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 santo eres tú. Al que está sentado en el trono, al que vive para siempre y siempre, sea la gloria, sea la honra y el poder, sea la gloria, sea la honra y el poder, sea la gloria, sea la honra y el poder, sea la gloria, sea la honra y el poder. Be all the glory, be all the honor and the praise, be all the glory, be all the honor and the praise al que está sentado en el trono, al que vive para siempre y siempre, sea la gloria, sea la honra y el poder, sea la gloria, sea la honra y el poder, sea la gloria, sea sea la honra y el poder. Mi alma clama por tu espíritu. Eres mi único anhelo. Eres la llama que enciende mi ser, mi protector y mi consuelo. Quiero más y más de ti. Quiero más y más de ti. Ven y lléname de ti, Espíritu de Dios. Ven y lléname de ti, Espíritu de Dios. Tu Santo Espíritu está sobre mí para anunciar las buenas nuevas, dar libertad a los cautivos y sanidad a los heridos. Quiero más y más de ti. Quiero más y más de ti. Ven y lléname de ti, Espíritu de Dios. Ven y lléname de ti, Espíritu de Dios. Ven y lléname de ti, Espíritu de Dios. anhelamos más, como viento recio inundanos, sopla Espíritu, te anhelamos más, como viento recio inundanos. Ven y lléname de ti, Espíritu de Dios. Ven y lléname de ti, Espíritu de Dios. Ven y lléname de ti, Espíritu de Dios. Ven y lléname de ti, Espíritu de Dios.
Qué hermoso es poder sentir la presencia del Espíritu Santo. ¿Sabes? Lo que el Espíritu Santo está buscando son esos corazones dispuestos, esos corazones que están abiertos y que están listos para escuchar su voz, esos corazones que están listos para obedecer, esos corazones que están listos para servir. A esos corazones que vienen contritos y humillados, a esos corazones son a los que Dios está buscando llenar con su Espíritu Santo, donde hay la disponibilidad, donde hay el deseo, la pasión. Ahí el Espíritu Santo está listo para poder obrar en nuestras vidas. Un corazón suavecito, un corazón sensible, un corazón moldeable que dice: heme aquí, aquí estoy, envíame a mí. Y en esta tarde, antes de escuchar la palabra, vamos a participar de esta ordenanza. Vamos a tomar este tiempo para recordar esa promesa que Jesús nos dio hace muchos años atrás. Esa promesa donde nos dijo que Él vendrá. Él vendrá por su iglesia, Él vendrá por su novia. Y es que el día que la última noche que Él estuvo con sus discípulos fue una noche muy especial, fue una noche inolvidable, fue una noche que hasta el día de hoy recordamos. Una noche donde Él se sentó con ellos y les habló lo que iba a acontecer. Y nos vamos preparando para poder participar de la Santa Cena. Pueden tomarla. Y mientras nos preparamos, ahí en tu casa también yo te voy a pedir que tú te prepares, también para poder participar de este momento. Es un momento muy importante, un momento que es necesario. ahí donde estás, también tú, a ti que estás en redes sociales. Esa noche el Señor Jesús se sentó con sus discípulos y Él estaba a punto de anunciar lo que iba a suceder. Y esa noche Él partió el pan, así lo dice su palabra. Él partió el pan, lo levantó y les dijo a sus discípulos: este pan representa mi cuerpo, ese cuerpo que será molido por vosotros. Y Él estaba anunciando que su cuerpo iba a ser lastimado, que su cuerpo iba a ser crucificado, que su cuerpo iba a ser humillado, iba a causar mucho dolor en Él. Y si tú estás ahí en tu casa, toma un pedazo de pan, un pedazo de galleta, lo que tengas a la mano. Es solamente algo simbólico. Compártelo con tu familia y hazles saber que esto es una ordenanza que Él nos dejó y que este pedacito de pan representa que Él iba a ser molido a causa de nosotros. Puedes participar del pan. Después también tomó la copa de vino y los discípulos quizás no estaban entendiendo mucho lo que iba a acontecer, pero Él de manera simbólica les dijo: esta copa representa el nuevo pacto en mi sangre, esa sangre que se derramó para que tú y yo pudiéramos tener nueva vida, esa sangre que pagó el precio por nosotros. Nosotros hemos sido comprados a precio de sangre. Esa sangre invaluable, no tiene un valor, no podemos calcular un valor por esa sangre. Y Jesús estuvo dispuesto a derramar su sangre a causa de nosotros. Y Él dijo: esta copa representa el nuevo pacto en mi sangre. Y dijo: tomadla y haced en memoria de mí, dijo. Y hacerlo todos los días en memoria de mí hasta que Él ve. Así es que participa. Y dale gracias por ese precioso sacrificio. Mientras adoramos un momentito más, dale gracias al Señor. Gracias. Sí, Señor.
Te anhelamos más como un viento recio, inundanos, sopla Espíritu. Te anhelamos más como viento recio, inundanos, sopla Espíritu. Te anhelamos más como viento recio, inundanos, sopla Espíritu. Te anhelamos más como un viento recio, inundanos. Ven y lléname.
Aleluya. Vamos a darle un aplauso al Señor porque Él es lindo y Él es bueno y Él es maravilloso. Pueden tomar asiento y bueno, ya estamos listos para compartir la palabra en esta tarde. Anthony, ¿estás listo? Eso. Bueno, pues el día de hoy vamos a tener a un joven que estará compartiendo la palabra con nosotros el día de hoy. Y qué importante es empezar a motivar a que nuestros jóvenes compartan, que nuestros jóvenes empiecen a movilizar también, en que aprendan a compartir, a predicar a Jesús. Y en esta tarde yo sé que tienes una buena palabra para nosotros. ¿Estás listo?
Hello. Okay, give me 1 second here. I have to get everything all ready. How's everyone doing tonight? It is great to see you all here. Hello, everybody online. I am Anthony. Some of y'all may know that I'm only English, but I'm learning Spanish. So maybe sometime in the future, we'll be able to do something in Spanish. But it's another night with me. So I want to thank the pastors for letting me speak today, for putting in your faith in me, and for this opportunity. But before we start, I would like to start with a prayer. So if everybody could close your eyes and bow your heads. Lord, thank you for today. Thank you for getting us all here safely. Thank you for this opportunity that you've given us today to be in your word, to be in your presence, to worship you today. I pray a blessing over everybody that's here. I pray a blessing over this building. I pray if anybody walks in or out that they will be filled with blessings, Lord. I pray that this language barrier is broken today and that we're able to understand the message that you have for us today. Everybody said, amen. Alrighty, cool. So today I'm going to be talking about trials, tribulations, and temptation. But before we start, I'm going to tell you a little story. Okay? I did this last time that I said a message, but if you know, or if you don't know, I work at a gym. Okay? And at the gym, we always have people walking in and walking out. And my job is to check them in and let them in and out. And if they have anything that they need help with, I help them, right? On an average day, we have about 1,200 to 1,500 people walk in. Okay? That's an average day, Monday through Wednesday. From Thursday to Saturday, it gets kind of slow. But that is our average walk-in, 1,200 to 1,500. So there was this one day that we had 2,776 check-ins. Now keep in mind, we only have 1,200 to 1,500 daily. So this is almost or about double the amount of people that walked in. So when I got into work, the first thing I did, I didn't even clock in. I just immediately started checking people in. That's how busy we were. And usually when I walk in, I have some downtime to, begin the day. But this day was immediately started going, right? So, like I said, my job is to check people in and then help people if they have anything wrong with their account or something's going on, right? So this lady walks in and I forgot her name, but I know her last name started with a P, so we're gonna call her Mrs. P. Okay, so Mrs. P walked in and she immediately goes up to the counter and says, "Hey, I have something wrong with my account and I need you to help me fix it." First of all, I'm like, whoa, chill, relax. But I help her, okay? She was worried because there was a check-in on her account from Pennsylvania, and she's never been to Pennsylvania. So I was also freaking out because I've never seen that before. So 5 minutes go by, I can't figure out what happened. 10 minutes go by, I can't figure out what happened. Now keep in mind, during me trying to help her, I also have to check other people in and help other people at the same time. Okay, so I'm walking this way, going this way, trying to help these other people, right? And she is obviously getting very frustrated, very angry because I can't tell her what the problem is. And the more that she gets upset, the more I get upset. It got to a point to where she actually threatened me for fraudulent activity, for all this other stuff, which actually like threw me over. Like I couldn't deal with her anymore. So what I did was I said, Mrs. P, you go ahead and go do your thing. Go work out. And I will stay here and try to figure out as much as possible. She reluctantly agreed and said, okay, fine. So she left and I stayed at the desk. I started to check in other people. I started to help other people. So about 5 minutes went by and I forgot about the whole thing, right? And then 30 minutes go by, still have no idea. I forgot about it. And I like look at the treadmills and there she is staring right at me, like staring into my soul, like just telling me, have you figured it out yet? And I completely forgot about it. And I was like, oh man. First of all, 30 minutes on the treadmill, way to go, Mrs. P, right? But I still haven't looked into the situation. So I still have people coming in. I still am checking people in. But in my mind, I'm thinking, hey, don't forget about Mrs. P's thing. Don't forget about her thing. Don't forget about her thing. And I remind myself every couple minutes so that when I have a downtime to do it, I immediately go do it, right? So finally, after about 45 minutes, it slowed down and I was able to look into what was going on in her account. It took me less than 3 minutes to figure out what happened. And after that, I went up to her and I told her what was happening. And as I was explaining what happened to her, I saw in her eyes that she had a moment of realization that like, oh, everything's gonna be okay. And I saw that in her eyes, like leave. The frustration and the anger and the worry, just leave. And when I saw that, the frustration and anger and worry left me as well. And everything was fine. Okay. Now, what I wanna highlight here is when I had all these things, I had to run to the left, run to the right, help this person, help this other person. I kept reminding myself, hey, I still have to do this thing. Hey, I still have to do this thing. Don't forget about Mrs. P, right? And I used this verse last time I said a message. It was Romans 12:12. It says, rejoice in our confident hope, be patient in trouble, and keep on praying, right? So during this time, taking care of all these other people, everything was happening left and right. I kept going back to the one thing I knew that I had to do. I kept going back, hey, you gotta help Mrs. P, right? So in other words, and this is the first T, trials. When you're walking through your trials, a lot of us get distracted by everything that's happening around us. And God has put you through this pathway and this thing that you're supposed to go through, but everything else is happening around us and we can't really focus on what we're supposed to be doing. You're going through your trial and what we call real world problems start happening. You know, financial hardships, your kids are driving you crazy. You apply for this loan you can't get approved for. Some of us struggle with depression, anxiety, and what God has set us out to do completely goes out the window because we're focused on all these other things that are coming at us, right? Because when all this starts happening and you have no idea what you're gonna do, you have no idea how you're gonna balance it, the things come at you left and right, and you're freaking out, kind of like how I'm talking right now, like this is happening, this is happening, this is happening, I don't know what to do, what's going on, how did this stop? Go back to what you know. Remind yourself, hey, there's this one thing that I can do. Romans 12:12, be patient in trouble and keep on praying. Because what the word says, actually, I'm supposed to use this later on. Let me find it real quick. I'm supposed to use this later on in the message, but John 16:33 says, I have told you all this so that you may have peace in me. Here on earth, you will have many trials and sorrows, but take heart because I have overcome the world. Proverbs 3 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your understanding. Seek his will in all you do, and he will show you which path to take, right? So when your real world problems start to rise, be patient in your troubles and keep on praying and take heart in the Lord, because everything that's happened, everything is happening and is going to happen, he's already overcome. Does that make sense? So as you're patient in your troubles and these things are coming at you and you keep praying, then here comes those 3 minutes here comes those less than 3 minutes of everything just going perfectly. Right? Because you begin to see the things that he's blessed you with in your life. And you begin to realize why he put you through that trial. You may be wondering, Anthony, what happens after that? You went through all this and you got through it. What happens after that? Well, let me tell you. Actually, let me ask you a question. How many of us have prayed the prayer, Lord, I want to know you better. I want to be more like you. Lord, I want you to use me and the things that you have planned for me. I know I have. I've said that before. But let me tell you this. Once you finish this little small trial, another one will come. And another one will come. And another one will come. And another one will come. But he's given us a tool to help us through that. Trials will happen every day in your life. Every day, whether big or small, whether you're going through a huge trial, but there's like little things happening every day, right? Which brings me to my next T. What comes with trials will always bring tribulations. Does that make sense? And a lot of people put them together, trials and tribulations, right? Because really, they're like the same thing. But in doing my studying for this, it seems as if like trials and tribulations comes as a duo, because they do. And most of us believe that they are the same thing. For the most part, they are, like I said. But tribulations will always come with trials. Correct? But what happens when a tribulation comes by itself? Let me explain more. Every time I saw the word trial or trials or trials and right? The same explanation came along the way. It was always like some sort of test. It was always affiliated with the word test. And that's trials alone. But when tribulations is alone, this is what it came out to be. A cause or state of great trouble or suffering. So some examples of tribulations could be, and this is going to hit, kind of, we'll see, a death in the family, a separation in the family, a disappointment, a disagreement, discomfort, and even being too comfortable. And I'm sure that we can name many more, right? I like to think of them as things that happen rapidly in your life with no warning. They just come, and then you're put into this state of stress and suffering. It isn't necessarily a long thing that we're put in, but it's another opportunity for us to closen our relationship with God. Instead, run the other way. Now, whenever I read the cause, or like a state or a cause to put in the suffering, anyway, whenever I read the definition of tribulations, this kept popping into my head. And it was when Daniel was thrown into the lion's den. Okay? Hear me out, okay? Let's read Daniel 6:6-9, okay? It says, "So the administrators and high officers went to the king and said, 'Long live King Darius. We are all in agreement, we administrators, officials, high officers, advisors, and governors, that the king should make a law that will be strictly enforced. Give orders for that the next 30 days, any person who prays to anyone, divine or human, except to you, your majesty, will be thrown into the den of lions. And now, your majesty, issue and sign this law so it cannot be changed.' An official law of the Medes and Persians that cannot be revoked." Right, so King Darius signed the law. Okay. Do you think Daniel knew what was going on in that time? No. So here he is, minding his business. And then he hears about this law. But what's the first thing he does? What's the first thing he does when he hears about it? Pray. That's the first thing he does. Philippians 4:6 says, "Don't worry about anything, instead pray about everything. Tell God what you need and thank you for everything that he's done." That's Philippians 4:6. And that's exactly what Daniel showed. He didn't show any worry. He immediately went to pray. Oh my gosh, I left. Here it is. Sorry. He immediately went to pray. But he knew the repercussions. He knew what was going to happen to him, but he did it anyway, right? Because in verse 7, it proceeds to say, "Then you will experience God's peace, which exceeds anything we can understand. His peace will guard your heart and minds as you live in Christ Jesus." Right. Now, that was like the example that kept coming in my head, because that happened to him like immediately. You know what I mean? Like he was kind of blindsided with that law. You know what I mean? And I know, I'm sorry. Yeah. I know that if I were in Daniel's situation and I was just blindsided by this, if you pray to God, then you're basically gonna die, I would be freaking out. I would legitimately freak out because I don't want to be eaten by lions. You know what I mean? But Daniel displayed what the correct thing to do was in a tribulation that comes. Right? Now, some of the things that I listed earlier can be very, very hard for us to work through. But what I'm trying to say is the answer isn't to turn to the things that the world offers. And trust me, I know that maybe in that moment, it can be more fulfilling to do the other things that the world offers instead of what the Bible tells us to do, right? But at the end of the day, we have to do what God says, because he's the way, the truth, and life, correct? But that brings me to my last T, which is temptation. We've all gone through temptation. We have all experienced it, fallen into it, and overcome it. Anthony, how do they relate? How does that relate? Let me tell you. Here's what I think. Here's what I have gotten out of studying for this. Trials brings tribulations, but tribulations bring temptation. So when we're going through times of suffering, times thinking that we're alone, times of thinking, okay, I may be going through this right now, but I know what I can do. I can just fall back to what I used to do because I know that, and it's easier. And when you do that, everything that's tempting you around you becomes so much easier to fall into. Sometimes we're tempted by our peers, our families, right? But when I was studying, I found out that there are 6 types of temptation. There's natural, influential, promotion, persistent, the perfect setting, and isolation temptation. Sorry. But I'm going to focus only on the first, second, and sixth one: natural, influential, and isolation. Each one of us has desires. Okay. Desires of acceptance, food, sometimes sexual desires, and the list can go on, right? But these are things that God has given us not for our pleasure, but for His, right? Let me give you an example really quick here. A couple years ago, I went on the Daniel fast, and it was like the first time of me ever doing it by myself and actually like going through with it. So on the first night of the fast, my family bought a buffet of food. They bought pizza, wings, dessert, and there I was eating my plain quinoa with an avocado and chopped carrots, right? And I remember this so vividly because I thought, well, I mean, what if I just push my fast a day back? Like, what if I just eat this right now and then tomorrow I can actually start my fast? Because it was the first day, you know what I mean? I mean, it's just one day. But I remember thinking, come on, man. I mean, it's just one meal. You can get through it. Okay? So I didn't eat the pizza and the wings and the dessert and the whatever else they had, right? And it was a Costco pizza. Those things are huge, right? Anyway, so I didn't eat that. And that's just like a small example of what natural temptation is. But with our other desires nowadays, there's billboards, there's social media, online sites, videos, pictures, public figures. But here's the crazy and amazing thing. Jesus can give you the strength to overcome all of this. Okay, Hebrews 4:15 says, we have one who has been tempted in every way just as we are, yet was without sin. So he understands what we go through in temptation. But the word says to seek his help daily, and he will help us through those temptations. The next form of temptation, influential temptation. This is the type of temptation you get from someone or something that has an influence in your life. Pretty self-explanatory. Your parents, your friends, different artists that you can listen to, actors you watch, a variety of different things. But how are they affecting you? Right? Are they showing you a lifestyle that goes against the word? And are they pressurizing you to make decisions that are questionable? And the other thing is, like, how are you coping with that? You surround yourself with all that, but how are you coping with it? One thing I left out of my little story time first fasting, during me trying to deny my temptation to eat the pizza and the wings and all, my family kept telling me, hey man, it's okay. Just push it back. Just do it. You're good. Don't worry. It's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. You can do it. I knew they were playing around, right? But they had such a huge impact on me in that moment. Because when they said that, I said, maybe they're right. Maybe it's not a big deal. Right? Wrong. These are the moments where you have to think. First Corinthians 10:13, the temptations in your life are no different from what others experience. And God is faithful. He will not allow the temptation to be more than you can stand. When you are tempted, he will show you a way out so that you can endure. So when we are tempted, he will show us a way out. Sometimes we are not going to want to do that. And in this moment, with them telling me, hey man, it's okay. Hey, just do it. I did not. I wanted to do it, you know? But I remember saying like a quick little, Lord, help me, please. And then I walked away. And then it was okay. Which brings me to my last form of temptation today. Isolation temptation. These come when no one is around. It's just you. It's me. My temptation is sitting right here. What am I going to do? Am I going to... Or... They're the ones that come late at night when you're alone in your room, or in my case, when there's a huge buffet and you're on a fast. Later on that night, after denying my temptation, denying myself, I got hungry again. So I went back to the kitchen because I only ate like 2 ounces of food, basically, right? And I went into the kitchen, and there they were, the leftovers. Oh man. Let me tell you, it still had the smell of like when it first came home. Oh my gosh. I could just tear into it right there, right? And I kept thinking to myself, because no one was around, I was like, what if I just sneak a tiny little bit? What if I just take a quick bite, or cut off like a little tiny, you know, in the school, like pizza parties when their slices are like that big? So I remember opening the box and taking a huge whiff of that beautiful pizza smell. And guess what I did? I closed the box. No, I closed the box, walked away, went to my room, and started praying. Now to think of it, I didn't get my snack that I wanted. But here's what I'm trying to say here. Sometimes we think it's weak to run away, but in reality, that's the real answer. We have to run away from that temptation, because the more you're around it, the more you're gonna want to do it. And the closer and closer you get to it, the easier it is for you to just grab the slice of pizza and eat it, right? So, here are some key points of running from or avoiding your temptations. One, don't battle alone, man. Don't do it alone, because the flesh is weak. The flesh is weak. Don't do it alone. Have somebody there that can help you. Have somebody you can talk to and be like, hey man, I'm going through this and I need help. Don't do it alone. Number two, flee. What I did. Leave that situation. Yep, that's right. Number three, watch your eyes. Psalm 101 verse 3 says, I will refuse to look at anything vile and vulgar. Can't be looking at that stuff. Number four, be careful with the little things. Be careful what you let slip by. Scrolling through TikTok, that video pops up. Nope. I'm gonna take a little peek. Nope. Yeah. This piece of chocolate. That's just a little piece of chocolate. Be careful with the little things, man. Be careful with the little things. Dude, I struggle with that, man. It's hard, but anyway. Because those little things add up. Those 3 seconds of watching that turn into 10 seconds, turn into 15 seconds. It's hard. That little bite of chocolate turns into a whole chocolate bar. And number 5, and the last thing that I want to close out with today, depend on God's strength daily. Because with your own, it's going to be that much harder. Trials would bring tribulations, and tribulations will bring temptation. But there is always a way to overcome them. Thank you.
Wow, muy buena palabra. Vamos a darle un aplauso otra vez, porque la verdad que sí fue muy buen consejo. Thank you, Anthony. Muy buen consejo. Huye de la tentación, no lo hagas solo. Depende de Dios. Cuida las pequeñas cosas. Cuida tus ojos. Porque dice, pues las tentaciones van a venir a nuestras vidas, definitivamente. Día a día estamos enfrentando diferentes tentaciones, pero tenemos el poder para vencerlas. Y como nos decía Anthony, la palabra dice que el Señor no nos va a dar más de lo que no podamos. Así es que medita en esta palabra. Compártela con otros. Échate un clavado a la palabra de Dios y verás qué hermoso es conocerle cada día más. Y bueno, pues el tiempo se nos ha terminado. Lo logramos. Y bueno, pues solamente queremos agradecerte porque estás en sintonía, porque has podido conectarte. Gracias a los que estamos aquí. Bueno, pues ha sido un servicio más, un servicio especial hasta que Él venga. Y solamente queremos recordarte que este domingo tenemos nuestro servicio presencial en punto de las 10 de la mañana. Y antes de despedirnos queremos orar y por los que están enfermos queremos hacer una oración. Y asimismo, orando por los enfermos, también nos vamos a despedir. Así es que vamos a ponernos en pie. Vamos a ponernos en pie y vamos a a darle gracias a Dios. Señor, muchísimas gracias. Gracias por darnos tu palabra. Esa palabra que nos instruye, esa palabra que nos guía, esa palabra que alumbra nuestro camino día a día. Gracias te doy, Señor, por este tiempo, por esta oportunidad que nos das de poder compartir tu palabra, de poder adorar, de poder llevar a cabo esta ordenanza de la Santa Cena. Señor, muchísimas gracias, Padre. Pero también tu palabra dice que si hay alguno que está enfermo entre vosotros, oremos por ellos. Así es que, Señor, en esta tarde queremos orar por aquellas personas que están pasando por algún problema de salud. Tú sabes quiénes son, Señor, los pongo delante de ti. Tú sabes también cuáles son las aflicciones, la enfermedad que están atravesando. Señor, pedimos en el nombre de Cristo Jesús que tú les levantes ahí donde se encuentran. Cada cuerpo que está siendo tocado por alguna enfermedad en este momento, Señor. Padre, te pedimos en el nombre de Jesús que traiga la sanidad completa a sus cuerpos, que fortalezca sus sistemas inmunológicos, Señor, que les restaures las fuerzas, cualquier virus, cualquier bacteria, cualquier infección en sus cuerpos, Señor, sea removido de ello en el nombre de Jesús. Y declaramos una restauración y una sanidad al 100%, porque esos cuerpos son el templo de tu Espíritu Santo, Señor. Así es que te pedimos, Señor, que podamos escuchar buenas nuevas de que estas personas, Señor, están siendo sanadas y restauradas, porque, Padre, nosotros creemos lo que dice tu palabra y declaramos sobre de ellos sanidad. Clamamos a Jehová Rafa para que traiga la sanidad y la restauración completa sobre sus vidas, sobre sus cuerpos, en el nombre de Jesús. Y asimismo, Señor, también nos despedimos de este lugar, Padre, mas no de tu linda presencia. Señor, llévanos con bien a nuestros hogares, que donde quiera que vayamos, tu presencia nos acompañe, Señor. Gracias por todo, en el nombre de Cristo Jesús. Amén. Y nos vemos pronto, nos vemos el domingo en punto de las 10 de la mañana. Recuerda que somos Shekina Gloria Church, donde su presencia nos transforma. Bendiciones y hasta la próxima. Bye bye.